Hey everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done with All American Season 5, Episode 19, called Sabotage. Guys, as you can see from the title, about damn time. About damn time we had this episode. You guys have all known how annoyed I've been getting with the writers and the direction that the writers have been choosing with the character JJ. It's just been frustrating the shit out of me. And one of my biggest fears about this episode is, I thought it was a good episode, but at the same time, one of my biggest fears is that, it would get wrapped up instantly, and, and also kind of like, even though I thought that this should have been something that should have gotten addressed way back when, if they were going to do this storyline with JJ, I thought it should have gotten addressed, like, way earlier in the season. Way before, it felt like in a way they're kind of rushing it because they want to wrap things up before the season finale next week. And it felt in a way very rushed this episode. And I don't know if I'm in a way feel satisfied with how they ended the storyline with JJ, because I felt like in a way that the writers, it's almost like they forgot about them giving the storyline to JJ, and then at the last minute they're like, okay, we need to wrap things up because we're getting to we're the season's coming to its end. We need to wrap things up before we go into season 6. So I felt in a way very rushed his storyline this episode, and that's really the main focus of this episode. I would say is really on Asher, Jordan, and Spencer all going to go see JJ. And that's kind of how this episode really kicks off. We have Asher kind of looking at his phone, sees that, he texted JJ a couple of times, and on all of his text messages, are on red, so JJ left him on red. And he asked, right away, Jordan and Spencer, like, oh, have you seen, JJ? Have you heard from him? And they're like, no, we know the last time we heard from him, that he was staying at his parents' house for about a month. And right when he said it's been a month and Asher had those text messages and it's been a month and he hasn't heard from him, I instantly thought to myself, well, this clearly states and shows that this friend group, this so-called, vortex, this so-called village, really aren't a village for JJ. It kind of, in a way, it made me feel that way, saying, wow, like, you guys, it was a whole month and you guys didn't reach out to JJ. Asher, you clearly saw your text messages were on red, and right away from this, if it was me and it was the second message, I wouldn't wait for a month. And I'm thinking those text messages went through all throughout a month, because it was a couple of weeks, from all those text messages. After the second read, I would have went over to go check on my bro. I mean, it's not like he's in some different area. He's in LA, staying at his parents' place. Go check. And it really annoys me, because I thought to myself, it really shouldn't have just been, Asher, Spencer, and, and Jordan that went to go see JJ. In a way, in my personal opinion, if it should have been a whole village going to go check up on JJ. The writers really had something to prove, I feel like, to us fans, because it's like, and really have something to prove, to us fans, about how we've all been pointing out that his so-called, his so-called friends, his so-called village, his so-called vortex aren't really, like, there for JJ, aren't really, like, they claim to be his friend, but they really don't show it. And I really would have appreciated if everybody kind of dropped what they were doing and went to go support their friends and be his village. I mean, we've seen it when Olivia was, kind of, afraid that she was gonna, pretty much, relapse. Everybody said, okay, Liv needs her village, Liv needs her friends, we gotta be there for her. I expected the same thing for JJ, but it really annoyed me that it was like just the three from the beach house that went to go check up on JJ. And like I said, I understand that, like, in this episode, we have, Laura, she's going back to work in this episode, and and she ends up finding out that Coop is having problems with Professor Hill on the fact that Professor Hill keeps critiquing her, saying, oh, you're using too much slang, oh, you're slouching, and pretty much is pretty much has his own kind of retaliation against his students. And that's why, Laura, which I loved, that was probably one of the things I loved about this episode. I loved how Laura went to go help out Coop with the issue of Professor Hill pretty much, getting on Coop when Professor Hill is stuck in the old ways of how, how the system was when Laura's like, no, like, Tamika is the future of, how, lawyers are going to be and how lawyers should be. You know what I mean? She's the one that can, is going to be the one that changes stuff in the way of the system works of being a lawyer. And you know what I mean? It's either, you get with the times, professor, or you get ran over. Pretty much, I loved how kind of like Laura was kind of, throwing up, lobs to Coop, and Coop was literally dunking. How they both were dunking on Professor Hill with the clapbacks, which I was very happy about, because that Professor Hill character, once Laura walked in, I knew it was over for Professor Hill. I was like, oh, bro, like, Professor Hill doesn't know the connection that, that Coop has with Laura. I was like, this is gonna be super funny, and I'm so glad that that teacher got put in his place, because he needed to be put in his place. He kept getting on Coop when in reality Coop is gonna be the change that the system needs. You know what I mean? It's like, she is the new. Well, she is going to be the new wave of like how lawyers, like how they're seeing the bigger picture. And I'm glad that Laura kind of like put it clearly into Professor Hill's perspective, like, actually you're right in a way, you know what I mean, like that Coop is going to be then how is going to be the right movement that we need. So I really appreciated that. There was definitely, like, I understand that they were dealing with that storyline, that's why we couldn't have like Coop checking up with JJ and being there for JJ. I understood that, but I also understood to myself, like, everybody had problems before. It should have been an episode where we all came together and were there for JJ. And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to let it affect the episode too much and how I feel about the episode, because it's, at the end of the day, it's the writer's fault that they didn't address this problem earlier in the episode, to have an episode where everybody could drop what they were doing to go really be there for JJ. So in reality, I thought it was a good episode, but it really annoys me because this should have been addressed way earlier on in the season, and it just really frustrated me. The other thing that we had going on in this episode is we had, the whole, I guess you could say, fallout of, kind of Patience, having to deal with Coop and having to talk to Coop and be like, oh, the video was doctored. Isn't what it looks like. Once, Sky kissed me, I pushed away, and Sky felt bad about it after. And she's like, Coop's like, I don't care about the way Sky felt. You know what I mean? Like, you're the one that, you should have told me about it before the video outed what happened. You know what I mean? You should have told me about it. And in a way that, Patience goes to kind of like Layla, saying that, oh, like why, like, Patience, like, oh, so you and Sky, like, why did you record the video? And she's like, I didn't record. And she's like, oh, so like someone put spyware on your phone? And she's like, I guess so. And she's like, who would be close enough to you to do that? And then that's when kind of like, Layla and Patience came up with the fact of, oh shit, or like Patience came up with, like, oh, it must have been Miko that did it. And of course Layla's like, I told you to drop Miko. And kind of like Patience had to deal with the fallout of also that Layla told Patience to drop Miko and not go meet up with Miko, and this was the result of Patience not listening to Layla. And in reality, Layla had every right to be like, okay, like, you should have listened to me, Patience. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to have you deal with it. I'm now dealing with it as your manager now, so I'm going to go deal with the Miko problem. You go sit back, you know what I mean? You stay out of this. Because in reality, Layla had every right to be like, I told you to drop Miko, and if you would have listened to me, none of this would have happened. So I have to do kind of damage control, and I need to go deal with Miko myself. I do think when we got to the part of Layla serving Miko with the papers of like a restraining order, I needed to be done. That's for damn sure, because she totally went to an inappropriate like point of spying on Patience, and also to the point of that it's illegal to blackmail people. So in reality, that's what needed to be done. It might not have probably have gotten to that point if Patience would have just like dropped Miko right then and there. Like, there would be no bugging of the phone and stuff like that, and things maybe, I don't think it would have, because we can clearly tell that Miko is actually like, she's ill, she needs help. And I think it would have progressed in some way, shape, or form, even if Layla even if Patience wouldn't have went to go kind of, resolve things with Miko about boundaries and stuff like that. Now, however, I do feel bad because it could have been just set and done right there with the restraining order and it going through. But the moment where like Miko went on Patience's, and mind you, before that actually, when Layla told Patience that, oh, I served Miko with restraining order papers, if she won't stop, we're gonna put a restraining order against her. This is what's gonna end up happening. Simple as that. Or maybe it's already put in place and she's like breaking those rules. I'm very confused on that. But the moment where like she's like, she wanted to say something saying like, oh, I tried to resolve things, And she's like, Layla's like, oh, Patience is like, I understand why you did that. You don't want another, because you don't want another Carrie situation. And she's like, she's nothing like Carrie. Carrie was I saw the good in Carrie. I saw a good that was worth saving in Carrie. I did not see that in Miko. And that kind of like, you could see on Patience's face, she's kind of like, was in a way like disgusted, like almost like, why would you say that? It kind of like seemed like she wasn't happy with the way Layla said that almost. So I think it really wasn't until the point when she kind of saw what Layla was saying is when, oh, sorry about that, I don't know what's going on downstairs, is when Patience kind of saw Miko in the live stream that Layla set Patience up for Patience to pretty much announce her acoustic guitar tour for all of her songs on her album. So it wasn't until she saw Miko and they're saying, oh my god, like, are you freaking kidding me? You have a restraining order against me and you clearly didn't get the message. And it took her to the point where she literally said, I don't agree with this at all. This is where I was kind of like, like, I do. And right, even when Layla brought the restraining order, I was like, oh my god, this is going to get a hell of a lot worse. And guys, I don't know if you feel that too, but I'm sorry. Like, even when Miko said to Layla, like, oh, like, Gia doesn't understand Patience, Sky doesn't understand Patience, I love Patience, I kind of saw like, oh god, that like she's ill, she needs help, and this restraining order isn't gonna do it. Like, you need to, like, somehow try to find a way to get her help. Something's gotta give. You guys gotta like do something about this, because that restraining order isn't gonna stop her. And I knew when she came into the comments section, I was like, clearly I said that wasn't going to stop her. And it took it to the point where I was like, Patience had no right. And I understand she was angry, saying after the point of like, okay, after Layla said she got resolved with the restraining order, like saying like, oh, if Miko doesn't leave you alone, we're going to do the restraining order. She got the message. She shouldn't be bothering you anymore. And then coming into the live stream, and then Patience outright told her entire fans like, oh, because she said before Miko joined in, like, oh, like, one of my fans, like, if I take a picture with you guys, doesn't mean that, I'm your property, you know what I mean? Or, like, or you have, like, you know what I mean? Or you have, like, yeah, like, doesn't mean that I'm your property. She said something like that, and doesn't mean that, you guys get to, like, get to cross boundaries and stuff like that. You guys need to respect my boundaries and stuff. And she's like, there was one of the fans hurt someone I'm close to, and then that's when Miko came in, and that's when she said, you know what I mean, like, this is the person that hurt my friend, her name is Miko, this and that, go throw shade to her, go hate her, go blah 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 blah. I didn't agree with that. I said that's crossing the line. I was like, I even said to myself, I'm like, Patience, I understand you're angry that even now that she's breaking the kind of like, thinking that, kind of breaking Layla going to her saying, oh, like, we're having a restraining order, kind of breaking those wishes of staying away, but doesn't mean that Patience had the right to tell her fans to go hate on her, go troll her, go do whatever, go gang up on her, go do that. I didn't think that was okay. I was like, that's not okay, and this is just going to make things 10 times worse for you, because the problem already got resolved with her saying that, oh, if you don't leave Patience alone, whatever. And even though she did go in the live, that then you go forward with the restraining order officially, so she can't do it. You know what I mean? You get the police involved. You don't go out and just tell your fans to go hate and go harass now Miko. You don't, even though she's doing the same thing to you, she won't leave you alone because you put the thing together. It doesn't make her look good as someone that's supposed to be spreading kind of in a way like love and kind of and kind of show people that you got to take the high ground. You know what I mean? You don't put that bad energy out that you're getting. You know what I mean? You don't harass someone just because someone's harassing you. I just felt that was like, that's not okay. And even though again, like, what Miko did was not okay by all means, I just don't think it was okay for her to direct her fans to go hate and go harass Miko now. I was like, that's not okay. And the fact that Coop, was in the live and heard what Patience said and says, oh, I'm all here, you did the right thing, blah, 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 blah. I was like, she didn't do the right thing. I mean, I understand, like, she already knows that Layla put the restraining order against Miko. The thing didn't go through yet, and at that point, go to the police. Don't tell your fans to go harass somebody else. She was in the heat of the moment. She'll probably realize, at least I hope she'll realize that, oh my god, I mean, whatever the result will be from Miko, I don't know. I have a terrible feeling that we're gonna end the last episode off of where Miko's gonna show up to Patience, something bad's gonna happen, or something bad's gonna happen where like Patience is gonna find out, and the result of her telling her fans to go attack, like go harass Miko. I feel like maybe Miko might try to harm herself. I'm just worried that some we're not done with this yet, and things are about to get a lot worse. And again, I feel like then hopefully it won't take it then where Patience will realize, oh my god, like I shouldn't have done what I did, telling my fans to go attack you online and go harass you. I feel like maybe she'll realize maybe I shouldn't have done that. And I just hope it's like it doesn't go to that point where she'll realize, oh my god, I shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? I'm really curious to know how you guys felt about kind of Patience directing her fans to go attack online, go attack, Miko online, and how there might be some fans out there that will literally go attack Miko in real life. You know what I mean? Like in the show. So what I'm trying to say, like, you never know. So it's kind of like going with that thing where I was kind of like, I understand that you're angry that even like about how Layla went to go set the boundary with Miko saying that you've been served with a restraining order, leave Patience alone, and she comes in there. It does not mean you go direct your fans to go do God knows what. You know what I mean? Because I just was disgusted by that. I said, really, Patience? Like, really? I was like, I just wouldn't expect that from Patience to go do that. I understand she was just angry. And at that point, just angry. But I feel like also had something to do with Layla saying that Miko's not worth saving. And I don't see anything in her that's worth saving. I feel like that she kind of took that. And then that instantly, because I feel like maybe she wouldn't have said that, maybe it wouldn't have gotten to that point. I just feel like that kind of, her saying that kind of did something to, like, it might have changed the way about how maybe, how kind of Patience was feeling. Like, maybe I do feel like, there is, maybe Layla's wrong about, there's something, that, there's something, some good in Miko that, can be saved. And until that moment when she's like, Layla was right, what's wrong with her, she knew about the restraining order, blah, 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 blah. I'm just curious to know what your guys' outlook is on that. Do you guys think it was appropriate for Patience to respond and tell her fans to go attack, Miko online? Do you guys think that was, like, okay? I'm really curious to know. Personally, I think that I was not okay with that. I was like, that's just not okay. Go to the police. Make sure that restraining order is put in place. Like, go to the police. Like, don't tell your fans to go do that, because what if they harm her? It doesn't make you better. It doesn't make you any better in the situation than what she did to you about spying on you and crossing boundaries. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Like, it's not okay. You're putting somebody else's safety at risk in a way. You know what I mean? We got to think about that too, from the other side, for what she did and what that could do to Miko. Even though, like, I don't like what Miko did. She's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, she's cuckoo, but she needs help. See what I'm saying? So I don't know. I wasn't okay with that. But the other thing about, and from the perspective of, we know Asher, and we know JJ, and we know Asher, and we know Jordan, and we know Spencer are gonna go check up on JJ, because it really wasn't until Asher found out that I guess practice is starting for football. Like, football practice is now officially in gear, and right away he's like, oh my god, like, we haven't heard from JJ. This could, like, if JJ doesn't know, this could, like, he get officially kicked off the team, because we have to remind ourselves what Coach Montez said to JJ, saying if you screw up again, you're off the team, and him not showing up. Mind you, Coach Montez doesn't, and I don't think Coach Montez would even care, even if JJ said, like, I need to get away, I'm not mentally okay, I need to take some time for myself. I feel like Coach Montez still wouldn't even care, and he would still kick JJ off the team, because I feel like that's just how Coach Montez is. He's not kind of like he's just a coach. He's not a father figure coach like how Billy was, that would understand where JJ is coming from. I feel like you would have just heard JJ say that, like, you're off the team. So that's why Asher was like, oh my god, like, we gotta get JJ back here. I don't want him getting kicked off the team. And also, I feel like to this point, you know what I mean? I'm looking out for him because I don't want him getting kicked off the team. But also, like, I'm worried he hasn't answered any of my messages. I'm gonna take this opportunity to get everybody together to go see what's going on with him at his parents' place. Mind you, I still am not okay with the fact that it took Asher this long to tell his friends JJ's not responding and we gotta go check up on him. It just goes to show again that these writers did not know what they wanted to do with JJ's character this line in the season, and also just yet again goes to show that his friends aren't his friends. I'm sorry, I just feel like I don't feel like they're his friends as much as it just doesn't feel like it reciprocates back, like, you know what I mean, from both sides. It just doesn't feel like it. How their response was to Liv needing help, to their response how JJ needing help. It just didn't feel like it's this. It just feels like it's just I don't know. It just feels like they're not as much as they're not, friends for JJ. It just feels that way, and I don't know. Even by the end of this episode, I'm like, okay, like I guess. You know what I mean? It feels like the writers just wanted to wrap this thing up, and just again does not make me feel okay about the situation. It doesn't feel like it reciprocates with the friend group of how everybody's there for everybody else, but no one's ever there for JJ. But I really did like how Olivia in this episode got accepted into the culture. I think it's the cultural exchange program, which is really awesome because she's actually gonna be in London for the entire summer on the exchange program. And it's like, I feel really happy for Olivia because she's back in college. She's happy right now. Same with Jordan. I'm really happy with where these characters this is their comeback after Billy's death, after their father's death. And I'm really happy that Liv got accepted. She gets to go to London for this program for I think he said 5 months. I think that's the span of a summer is 5 months if I'm correct. But I just feel like that's awesome. But at the same time, she was like, okay, like this is mom's first day back to work, and she's kind of like, she's asking us if she looks good. If her outfit's okay, when like Laura she's like, Mom would never ask that. I don't feel like I should tell her yet because she's kind of getting used to going back to work, and I'm afraid like what her reaction will be of me leaving for like the entire summer out in London, like what her response will be. So I kind of felt bad for Olivia, how she was getting ready to go like tell Laura like, hey, like I got accepted, but that's when or Jordan's like, oh, where when Laura was about to leave, oh, like Liv has something to tell you. And then Olivia's like, just have a nice day, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, just have a nice day at work. I'll see you when you get back. And even like Laura's mother was there, which I can't remember if we've ever seen Laura's mom before, but that was very interesting. So it was just really good that Laura's mom was even like, you need to tell Laura, like you need to tell your mother that because Liv's like, I don't want to like, hurt her feelings, like, you know what I mean? Like her first day back is important. And she's like, even what you are going through, you getting this, like, this is important too. You need to tell your mom that you got accepted in this. She'll understand. Jordan ends up telling her anyways. And she's like, you need to go, honey. You need to go to like London. You got accepted and this is big. I'll be okay. Jordan will be here. I'll be fine. You need to go. But even even for Olivia, she feels like there's still kind of like, I think in a way she was kind of not okay with leaving Spencer behind too. I feel like she kind of felt that way as well, because I mean, like, I think she, in a way, as we can be seeing, that there's a chance for them getting back together, as we've clearly saw from last week's episode with the whole dance number. She knows that there's something still there, and she's kind of like, she might even be afraid what will change in the span of me being gone all summer, and what will that kind of make it where me and Spencer don't have a chance to get back together if I leave. So it wasn't until like Laura's mother said, you know what I mean, like you need to, like, before that you get with Spencer, you need to do what makes you whole first before you can try things out with Spencer again. Like you need to do what you need to do first before you do like get back with Spencer. And I was glad that Laura's mom said that, because I was like, okay, this is good. You need to put yourself first. You need to do this first before you have this relationship with Spencer again. You need to feel whole before you kind of want to go all in with a relationship, you know what I mean, without any regrets of like her staying behind, her like being, trying to like, like just go do what you need to do first, so that there's no problem in the relationship. And I like that. I was like, okay, she's right for that, and she needs to take this opportunity. It's a big opportunity for Liv to go out to London in this program. Liv needs to do what she wants to do, because for the longest time she hasn't. And now that she's kind of opened herself up to having, being back in college, and her being accepted in, her being accepted by this, program, she needs to do it. You know what I mean? So I'm all here for it. I think it's the right decision for her to go, and then try to, like, hopefully things are still good between her and Spencer, where, like, they can get together when she gets back from that program. Because even when, like, Spencer, like, she tells Spencer about her being accepted into the program and that she's going to be gone for the entire summer, and out and gone in London, he was kind of like, saying, oh, I'm so happy for you. But even when he was hugging her, you could tell he was like, I don't want to let you go without telling you I love you and I want to be with you. Like, I think that's going to happen in the next episode, where he's going to say, I love you, I want to be with you. Yeah, but he's still going to let her go. And you know what I mean, they'll be the, and he's gonna say like, when you get back, like you know what I mean, let's do it, like let's start it, let's do this, like let's be together. I think that's what's gonna end up happening. But then again, like it's the whole entire summer, things change. When you say you're going to do something, things might change. You never know. I'm worried that that's what they're going to go do in season 6, is that they're going to say that they're going to be together, and then some weird shit's going to happen, like in the span of that entire summer. They might change a little bit, and I hope that's not what's going to end up happening again, because I don't want another full season where it's like, oh, will they, won't they? Like, come on now. Like, we're getting to the point where, like, they need to, I expect Spencer and Olivia to finally tell each other that they love each other and that they want to be with each other, but, you know, Olivia is still going to go do what she needs to go do, and Spencer's like, I'll wait for you when you get back. I'll wait. Because, you know what I mean? I feel like that's what they're going to do, and I feel like that's what we need to hear. You know what I mean? We need to know that they'll be together when she gets back from that program. And you know what I mean? I'm glad that Spencer isn't like, oh, like, I don't want you going, because he won't do that to Liv. He's gonna be like, you need to go do this, but you're worth the wait. You're the woman I love. I'll wait for you when you get back. But also in this episode, like I said, with the whole, you know, addressing JJ, I really thought it was JJ was playing like everything was okay when they showed up, when Asher and Jordan and Spencer showed up. He's like, oh, everything is good, I'm good, guys, like, I've never been better. This month really like fixed, you know, really kind of, you know, really just, you know, was what I needed to kind of find myself again. You know, old JJ is back. And in reality, I was like, Jordan was falling for it. I was like, oh, come on, Jordan, I expect more from you. Why are you falling for this? But yeah, guys, I'm sorry about that. That's my sister. This is what I have to deal with. But you know, I really kind of like was happy that Spencer, if anybody, because Spencer's done that before, where he's like, oh, everything is okay when things aren't okay. He's the master of saying everything is okay when things aren't okay and putting on a smile on his face. And I'm glad that, like, you know, Spencer called it out, and Asher even knew that JJ's not okay. He's lying. You know what I mean? He's spiraling and he needs help. Like, you know, he's in a free fall. We need to be here for him. And then Jordan, like, and I'm glad that Jordan kind of understood, like, you guys have right. He, you know what I mean? And if anybody should know that, you know, he's putting on the front. I would expect Spencer to pick it up, because Spencer has done that before, and I feel like that's what kind of put into the perspective of Jordan. Like, if Spencer's picking up that JJ's faking, Spencer's most definitely right that JJ is actually needs help, because Spencer went through that, and Jordan even knows Spencer's played that everything's okay when things aren't okay. So I thought it was really brilliant, because you know Asher, was it JJ wasn't ready to go back when he found out about practice. He's like, oh, I need to work on a paper, and it's a video assignment, and it's like, oh, who am I assignment. It's like a video assignment that's like, it asks the question like, who are you? And that's the problem that JJ is going through. He does not know who he is, and just seeing how they're like, oh, like, we'll help you with your assignment, and we'll all join in on the assignment. Like, we'll all do a, like, who are we video log. Like, we'll all do it. Like, you know what I mean? And I just thought it was really just unique of how, like, Spencer did it, and he was just like, and Spencer's idea is like, we're not gonna like sugarcoat anything. We're gonna like admit to like how things were and what we've all went through to get where we are now, to prove to JJ and kind of, you know, to that, you know, once we're all together and we're all helping each other, we can get through anything. And also kind of like make it so JJ wants to put his guard down, and kind of like, hopefully, like what we're saying makes JJ realize that, you know, he needs help, and and makes him realize that we're here for him. So I thought that was brilliant on Spencer's behalf, saying like, oh, they all wanted to join in on the project, and kind of like they're trying to get him to admit that he's not okay. So I really appreciated when they all did their own little like video logs, and they're all explaining like, oh, like what got them there to this point, and like about like saying like, oh, my friends, my village got me here, and pretty much trying to show JJ like, you know, like, like, I went to my village. We want you to come to the village. We want you to like come to your friends and ask for us to be there for you. When in reality, it's like, come on, bro. Like, it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, he tried that, but you guys just kept, you know, you guys always had something more important, and we've all seen that. So I was kind of like, he kind of cried out for help. I mean, especially with Asher, and Asher didn't tell the friend group that about him crying out for help, and him wanting to leave everything behind. It took a month for them to react or to do something, or even before all that. And I mean, until that moment where like JJ was like, I need to leave football, I need to leave every school behind, I need to leave. It still took him a month to really tell everybody like, oh, like, you know, JJ's not responding, something is wrong, blah 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 blah. It took him only until like football, like football, practice is going on, starting back up for, that's why we need to go check up on, I'm gonna use this as an excuse to go check up on JJ. It's like, no, bro. It's like, he tried that, and it really even proved my point where, like, Spencer is doing his video log, and kind of, like, he gets to the point where, like, he starts now, like, ambushing JJ, because JJ doesn't know it's kind of like an ambush, like, that, is gonna get him to admit that there's something wrong. So, until the point where, like, he starts directing everything at JJ Spencer, and then he gets a phone call from from Dylan saying like, oh, Spencer, you're gonna go take me to go get my haircut. And then it took him to the point of like, yeah, you get that or whatever, you know what I mean? And it says, oh, like, you guys weren't here for the party anyways, like, you can leave or whatever, like, you can leave, like, I thought you guys were here to have like a party with me, but you can leave. And you know what I mean? It's one of those things where, like, again, that goes back to the point, you guys always have something else, and you guys didn't see what was going on with JJ. You know what I mean? It just shows that you have your vortex, but he's just not in it. And I feel like that proved it, this episode, with him it just proves it. They did not know what was going on, and the fact that it just proves again that what JJ's point of view is that you guys never have time for me, and you guys are always doing something else. You guys didn't see what was going on. You guys didn't see that there was something wrong with me. And again, you guys know that there's something wrong with me, but you're answering a phone call in the midst of you trying to so-called help me. So, and it just didn't work out, and he told Spence to leave. Spencer had to leave because he had to go take Dylan to his haircut appointment that he had. But also, Spencer was dealing with, in the beginning of this episode, the fact that, like, D'Angelo and Dylan are getting along. Like, D'Angelo is kind of like Dylan's, like, bro at this point. I wouldn't even say, like, they've, like, Dylan's really kind of, like, turned D'Angelo, which is his stepdad, into kind of like a friend, into a bro, like someone he could just talk to. And he actually, when Spencer walked in and saw, D'Angelo and saw Dylan on the couch eating on the couch watching a game and kind of just chilling out and talking and stuff, like, Dylan would do with his friend and stuff, like, Spencer's like, oh, what the hell's going on here or whatever. Like you said, like, when I was younger, I wasn't able to eat on the couch, like, what's happening here? And the fact that, like, Dylan ended up telling D'Angelo that he had a girlfriend, his first girlfriend, and didn't tell Grace, and you could tell that was, like, made Grace upset, saying, oh, like, oh, yeah, like, I, like, you told your friend or whatever, meaning, like, because in reality, it's, like, D'Angelo is not really a father to Dylan. He's more like Dylan's treating him like, oh, I'm going to turn D'Angelo into, like, my bro. And because even the way D'Angelo said, oh, like, I thought I couldn't tell, because they're all shocked at the fact that, like, Dylan had to get a haircut to go meet up with his girlfriends or go take his, like, because he was taking his girlfriend out on a date. And Spencer's like, girlfriends? Mom, did you know about this? And like I said, Grace didn't know about that. And D'Angelo's like, oh, I didn't want to tell because I didn't want to, like, that's bro code, not telling. I didn't want to, like, because even D'Angelo is, like, the way he's, like, bonding with Dylan is him acting like a bro to Dylan. And it's kind of like Grace was upset about that, saying, like, how is, he gonna, like, tell D'Angelo but not tell me about his, like, first girlfriend? And even though Grace was, like, saying, oh, it's not bothering me, you know what I mean, I don't want to like, jeopardize them, bonding with each other, and if it means that Dylan's Dylan's kind of is kind of like connecting with D'Angelo as, like, a friend, that's all cool. I don't want to like, try to make problems and saying I'm annoyed at the fact that Dylan didn't tell me about his girlfriend and stuff like that and told D'Angelo. But I'm glad that Spencer did make it known when he went to go pick up Dylan, like, you know what I mean, that, it bothered Mom that you didn't tell her and keep her in the loop about, you having a girlfriend. You know what I mean? She wants to know those things. For the longest time, it was just me, you, and Mom, like, and we were our main focus, and the fact that you didn't tell her but you told D'Angelo, that hurt her feelings. And I'm just so glad that Dylan told her, because, I feel like, Dylan eventually did tell, Grace, like, oh, like, I got stood up. And, you know what I mean? Because, she didn't want to go to the arcade. And she's like, oh, if you, like, you have to ask, you should ask her what she wants to do. And she's like, and Dylan's like, oh, that's good advice, because, I can't ask any advice from these two, meaning D'Angelo and Spencer. And they were, of course, offended by that. Like, you can't ask us for girl advice? Because, mind you, Spencer's had some problems before in his relationships. And D'Angelo, I don't know, man, hasn't dated since, of course, the passing of his wife. And he's like, he paid jokes saying, like, oh, I mean, I can't ask them for advice. So would you be able to kind of chaperone our movie date? And she said, I would love to. And it just made me happy that Dylan made right by him in kind of letting Grace in on what was going on in his life and making her have, like, making her involved. You know what I mean? It was really happy that, you know, Spencer kind of made it known to Dylan, like, you know, you made mom upset. But it was one of those things where, like, even like Jordan and Asher never left when JJ said, I told you guys to leave or whatever. I told, you know what I mean? Like, if you guys are trying to ambush me, I told you guys to leave, and they're like, oh, we're not going to ambush you. We're going to still help you with your video project, and I'm going to, like, and we're going to say our story. Like, we're going to just do that. We're not going to try to ambush you. JJ still tries to do it, you know, and even, like, you know, or Jordan tries to do it, JJ's not having it, and then Asher just directly says, like, I'm gonna just shoot forward. I'm not gonna try to ambush you. I'm just gonna speak the truth and just do it. And even, like, when you try, like, instantly goes into ambushing, you know, JJ, you know, JJ's like, I thought you said you weren't gonna do this, and he's like, I said I was gonna be direct with you. And I am being direct. I didn't lie about that. Meaning, like, you know, like, you showed up to you know, Billy's, reaping, you know what I mean, drunk, and, you know what I mean, and you also, like, he was just naming problems that JJ did and all that stuff, and even the comment about Layla, you didn't say sorry to Jordan about what you said about Layla, and just saying things. And even, like, JJ's like, I don't owe you guys anything. And then, of course, that's when kind of, like, Dylan gave Spencer the idea of, like, how they weren't getting through to, you know, to JJ. And I think it was after the fact of Jordan's thing, that's when Jordan probably texted Spencer, like, oh, we're not getting through them, whatever. And then that's when kind of, you know, Dylan said, well, maybe he needs someone that he actually needs to kind of, you know, give an explanation to and say sorry to. And it was the point where that Spencer's like, oh my God, he needs to explain to Olivia why he came drunk and apologize. Like, he needs someone that he can't run from an issue, and he actually has to apologize and kind of face his problem head on. And it was brilliant because, like I said, like, it made sense why Olivia kind of came in to, you know, talk to JJ, because I was thought to myself also, like, if anybody would understand kind of like what JJ is going through, it would be Olivia, because, you know, Olivia is an you know, alcoholic and drug user, and also, you know, JJ is, you know, kind of like, in a way, an alcoholic, and called that out about JJ being an alcoholic. So it kind of made sense from Olivia coming in saying, you know what I mean, like, you owe me an apology about you coming in drunk and all that, and really JJ did come clean to Olivia and did allow, like, I don't know who I am, you know what I mean? From when I was even younger, I was a chunkier kid, and of course, you know, I used to do the truffle shuffle, you know, for my parents, you know, work buddies, and that kind of, you know, got them deals and stuff. Like, they used to use me to kind of, you know, make their work buddies happy and stuff like that. And I've always thought, you know, I just assumed that I was always the funny dude, and I really never knew really who I am. And they're like, but you do, whether you don't know it or not, but we know who you are. You're the one that kind of, you know, that did the whole murder mystery game night and brought us all together and showed us that, you know, that we weren't all there for one another like we used to be, and the promise that we all made, saying that we're always going to be all together. You're the one that, you know, that you kind of did the fundraiser for Jamie, you know, the auction fundraiser for Jamie to help her with her medical bills. Like, you are funny, JJ, but you also are kind, and you are the heart of the Vortex. And that made me very happy that they said that. I was like, because he is. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. JJ is the heart that kept that group, the Vortex, that village, kept them together. Without JJ, the village would not be together. It took that murder mystery game night to have them all realize that they all aren't keeping the promise that they all made at Spencer's, you know, log cabin, about them all being together and they'll always be there for one another, and they will always be together and make that vortex. He's the one that showed them that they weren't all there for one another anymore, and they were all kind of doing their own thing and not making time for one another, and that hurt JJ, and they made fun of him for it. And I'm just so glad that they're finally, in a way, realizing that, you know, we let you down. Like, I'm glad that they did, but in a way, I still feel like I'm not happy. And I feel like it just, again, it all boils down to the writers waiting too long, them doing the story with JJ, and them just and it felt like it just, again, I just felt like the episode was just rushed on that behalf, because it should have been addressed earlier. It should have been thought out more of really what they were trying to do with what was going on with JJ. Because even to this day, I really don't even understand, like, I guess I understand why, because he didn't know who he was, and that's why it kind of all led to this moment. But I feel like it was poor execution of me really understanding, like, I feel like that's still not a reason why, like, you guys did this to this character, and why and why we didn't have an episode where it was like a full episode where like everybody came together to go check up on JJ, and why this and the result of like you guys thought you just let's just do this episode. And so that way we could wrap everything up and think everybody would be okay with it. I still like this episode, but I'm still not okay with the fact that I feel like they just did not know what they wanted to do with JJ this season, and where they were going with this arc of him being like an alcoholic and all this stuff going. I just feel like I did not know still what the, you know what I mean? It just feels like it's not, it feels like really, I feel like I'm not like, you know, what's the word? I feel like I'm just not, like, I don't have closure for this storyline. I feel like it's just like, you guys just did not know what you were doing, and it feels like you're just trying to wrap things up. I feel like even in the way the characters didn't say that they were sorry for not seeing the signs of him wanting, you know what I mean, of him needing help. I just feel like it, you know what I mean? And even when they're not saying it with Asher, like I said, him not wanting to go, like him not like, you know, it's taking a full month and then it only took him until learning that, you know, practice was starting up for the season, and to take him to go, wanting to go check up on JJ. And it wasn't the fact that he got all those red notifications on how JJ left him on red for him to go, wanting to go check up on JJ and gather everybody together. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I still don't feel like I just am okay with what the writers did with this character. It's just not cool. And also I heard from the actor that plays JJ, it was on his TikTok, I don't know if it was true or not, about him leaving the show. I hope that's not true, because even by the end of this episode, JJ does say, I'm not like, cause, you know, JJ went back to the football part of, you know, of school to go tell Coach Montez that he wants to, like, is leaving football to kind of go focus on himself for a while, and he might join up like later down the line. And Ashley's like, there's no guarantee I can save your spot, but like, when you're ready, and you just know that we're here for you, like, you know what I mean, just know that we're here for you, and there's no guarantee that, you know, you're gonna get your spot back. And he's like, I understand I might not get my spot back, but I need to take time for myself and just and get to know the real JJ. So it's just, I'm glad that JJ is gonna take time for himself and do all that, but like at the same time, it's like, it's sad because even Asher knows that if he told Coach Montez would never probably even let him join back on the team. I feel like even when Coach Montez does find out that, like, when Asher does tell Coach Montez that JJ left, he needs to take time for himself, Coach Montez is going to be like, you know, he's not allowed to be back on the team. I feel like he's just going to be that type of dude. I don't know if we're going to see Asher tell Coach Montez that, but I feel like that's what his response would have been, going on the fact of how he reacted when JJ kind of, you know, was doing outstanding work of being gone all that time and missing all those practices, and then coming in telling Asher he's fully committed to football, and how Coach Montez saw how good JJ was doing in the strategy room of, you know, of their kind of, you know, their strategy meeting that they were having. And he even like, and Asher's like, oh, isn't JJ doing good? And then that's when what was it, Coach Montez is like, oh, like, he's doing good, but let's see how long it lasts. You know what I mean? I feel like I just would know his response if Asher told, you know, Coach Montez, like, oh, like, JJ needs to take time for himself. He's leaving football. He understands he might not get his, like, you know, position back, but he needs to focus on himself, you know, with his, you know, his mental health and focus on himself. I feel like he just wouldn't understand it, like, oh, he's off the team anyways, you know what I mean? I don't care about all that. I feel like he would just be that dude. But like I said, like, this just, like, I felt like overall was a good episode. It just feels like it took too long to get here. And it feels like I didn't hear a lot of apologies coming from everybody, and I mean, I feel like they realized that they should have been there, but I feel like in a way, I feel like I didn't get that sense. I felt like they wanted apologies, but I feel like in a way they didn't understand that they needed to apologize to him. I feel that way, honestly. And again, it all boils down to the writers and how they wrote the storyline for JJ this season. It came out of nowhere. I feel like it was a poor execution of them, even like, I feel like it was a poor execution of really us understanding of how JJ got here. Even though the fact that we all kind of understood the fact that he was being ignored and stuff, but it doesn't understand the fact of, like, you know what I mean? I expected a better response from everybody in the whole entire vortex being there to have that conversation with JJ. I just expected a better execution. It doesn't say that I'm not happy with, you know, JJ when, you know, realizing, you know, he's wanting to get to know the real him, and he wants to take time for his mental health. I love that for the character, and it makes sense, but I just feel like in a way still I'm just annoyed about how, when it took this long for the characters to react, or even just three of the characters to react. The other ones probably don't even know what's still going on with JJ, and JJ even going off to his parents' place. I wouldn't be surprised if none of the other characters know. But I just expected more after the conversation of that one outcry of that one breakdown that JJ had. I expected the next episode right away Asher would have told everybody, and everybody would like try to like have a conversation with JJ. I expected a quicker response, especially after JJ almost dying in that episode. With the whole laced with fentanyl, that pill that he was going to take. So I just expected a quicker response. I feel like it would have been more appropriate too. I just feel like if this was real life, it would have been too late. I feel that way. And I feel like and if this would have been real life, us, like if we had a friend that was going through that and we had even the one thing on red, you know what I mean, we would have went to go instantly go check up on a person, or if we knew what they were going through, especially after them almost dying from almost taking a pill. We would like one red message after they said they were going to stay at their parents' house. I would have flew over there and checked on my friend, like, you left me on red. I need to be here. I want to be here for you. I'm going to be here for you. I'm not going anywhere. Let's go watch some movies. Let's go do something. You know what I mean? I want to be here for you. Not waiting a couple of reds, weeks gone by, and it's a whole month, and then it takes you to know that practice is starting, and then that's what makes you get everybody together to go check up on JJ. I would never do that shit in real life, and it feels so unrealistic. It's like, are you kidding me? I would say this. It just feels like these are the worst friends of all time. It just feels that way. That's just my perspective. Like, by the way the writers are writing the characters, I'm like, they're not his friends. Like, it doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell's all this? It took you a whole month, and it takes you until now to hear that practice is starting, and you not wanting JJ to get kicked off the team, the one you to go check up on JJ. F the practice. One red message and him leaving you on red should have took you to get everybody together. Hell, not even to that point. Should have took you to the outcry, him saying you wanted to leave football and leave everything behind, and said that he didn't need when Asher saying, oh, you'll come with the friend group. You know what I mean? Like, let's get together. You know what I mean? Try to help you. And he said, I know, like, I'm good. I want to leave. It should have took him next episode. Oh, guys, let's go get together. Let's be there for JJ. It's just one of those things where it's like, about damn time it got addressed. But I just feel like it was poor execution. It got addressed. But guys, I'm really curious to know, like, what did you guys think about this episode? I'm really curious to know. We're definitely gonna watch next week's episode's promo. I want to know your opinion on Patience kind of, directing her fans to go attack Miko. I want to know what your take is on that. If you think that was okay, or if you think that wasn't okay, let me know. And also, let me know, do you guys feel like this is done? That the Miko thing is resolved? I think things are about to get a lot worse. I feel like I said, the finale next week, I feel like there could be, I feel like something bad's gonna happen. I don't know what it is, but I feel like something bad's gonna happen. On the result of not only the restraining order against Miko, but now the call out the Patience is forcing fans to go attack online Miko. I feel like Miko might retaliate in a really bad way. I have a weird feeling. I hope that's not what's going to end up happening, but I feel like they wouldn't build up this way if it wasn't to the point where I feel like something bad's going to happen. Especially building up to this extent while knowing that next week is going to be the finale. I feel like it's just not resolved. I feel like things are going to get worse. I want to know your opinion on that. On top of, I want to know your opinion on, do you guys feel like this JJ story arc is resolved in a good way? Do you guys feel like it took too long to get to this episode? Do you guys feel like it should have been do you guys think that the whole vortex should have been together for this episode? I'm really curious to know, do you guys think it took too long? Do you guys think the whole vortex should have been in this episode, wanting to be there, dropping what they were doing to be with JJ and kind of be there for him as they were for Liv when she was going through the problem that she was going through? Do you guys think everybody should have been there for JJ as well like that? I'm really curious to know, what do you guys think? And also, do you guys feel like that, since we waited all this time, do you guys feel like it made sense, the arc that JJ went through? Do you guys feel like that makes sense? You know what I mean? Do you guys feel like, you guys feel satisfied with this kind of build up to, what's going on with JJ, of all of us asking this question, and why isn't anybody there for JJ? Do you guys feel like you feel like, do you guys feel like it feels resolved to you? Do you guys feel satisfied with this ending of this arc? Do you guys feel like it's satisfying to you? I'm really curious to know. But guys, I have a theory, and I'm going to talk about it going into the next episode. I'm going to talk about the theory in the promo, because I have a theory from the promo of what's going to happen in the next episode. So we're going to actually do it right now. I have it already pulled up here. It's a pretty damn good theory, if I do say so myself. So hopefully it's perfect volume for you guys. Let me know if it is or isn't. Like, let me know. But let's watch it right now, the promo for the season finale of All American Season 5. Let's get into it right now. Who's getting married? Guys, I wonder if anybody knows where I'm going with this, on the fact of whose ring that is. I'm really curious to know if you guys have any idea of where this theory is going, the theory that I have, because I'm gonna say it right now. That ring is Spencer's ring for Olivia. I want to know if anybody else said the same thing I'm saying. That ring is for Olivia, and I'm guaranteeing either A, I'm thinking he bought it when they officially got together. When they officially got together, I feel like he bought it then. But I'm not gonna lie, for all I know, I thought to myself, I was telling my sister, like, wouldn't it be interesting if he got it, like, the first day he met Liv, thinking, oh my god, like, this is the one? I was like, I highly doubt it, because he was with Layla at the time. I don't think so. But I do think it was the moment when they officially got together, he probably bought that ring. And it's in this moment where he's probably finally bringing it out to be like, look, like, as going with the fact that, you know, Jordan said to Spence, saying that, oh, you know, you need to tell, you have to tell the person, like, you got to tell the person that you love them. You can't waste any more time. You got to tell them. And then Spencer saying it to Grace, like, I'm not willing to lose another Baker. I think it's the point where, like, either maybe even he buys it in this episode, or maybe when he broke up with Alicia, he bought the ring. I don't know, but I'm thinking when they probably first got together, he probably bought the ring. If not, maybe now he wants to say, like, tell Olivia, like, you're the only one for me. Will you marry me? Like, will you marry me? I'm willing to wait until you get back, but I want to do this now. Will you marry me? I feel like it's his ring. I don't think and I think they're making it, they're doing it with JJ finding the ring, and of course, you know, they're making it with they're making it with two, they're trying to psych us out, because we have two dudes that are in great relationships right now, with Asher having a kid on the way with Jamie, and Jamie moving into the beach house, with also Jordan having a great relationship right now with Layla. They're making it where it's like we don't even think it could be Spencer's, but I'm telling you it's Spencer's, because especially with Spencer now realizing that, especially after that dance, Olivia's the one. And I feel like it even was before that, but I feel like even now, after that dance that they had, he's like Olivia's the one. I feel like that really was sunk into his head with Olivia's the one. I needed to tell her how I feel. I feel like that he was gonna tell her, but I feel like at that point he knew that there's something still here. Like, you're the one for me. I have these feelings for nobody else. So I feel like it's his ring, and I'm really curious to know, like, what do you guys think about that? Do you guys think it's Spencer's ring and he's gonna propose to Liv in the next episode? Because I feel like that also would be a great way to end the show. If it's if it's him pulling out the ring saying, will you marry me? And could you imagine they cut that off and we get it until next season? The question, I feel like we're gonna get that question though, because I feel like, are you kidding me? Why would you kind of cut that off of the question? But could you imagine where she did say she is leaving, and it's kind of like, what, like, and maybe he wants to just not lose her, and maybe does want her to stay, and that's when he says, will you marry me? I love you, I don't want to lose you, will you marry me? And we don't get the answer, will she marry him, or will she go off to London to do her her program? It kind of makes it in a way where, like, oh, what will she choose? I don't know if they're gonna do it like that, because I feel like that also would be very cliche, like that typical trope of someone's leaving, oh, like, you have to choose me or choose what you're going to do. I would prefer if he says, like, will you marry me? But, like, you mean, like, or like I love you, but I still want you to go to your program, but I want to make this, like, I know that you're the only one for me, and I want to make this official. Will you marry me? And it's like she married, of course they're engaged, and then maybe they get married at the end of season 6. You know what I mean? Like, they get engaged, and they get married. Like, I feel like that'd be a perfect way to end season 6 off too. I feel like, because I want season 6 to be the last season. I feel like it'd be perfect. Like, she gets back at the beginning of season 6, or maybe midway through season 6, and then they end it off where they get married and we call it. I don't want a season 7. I don't know how people feel about that, how you guys feel about that. I don't need a season 7. I feel like, especially if we're leading up with a ring in this finale, and it ends up being Spencer's ring for Olivia, which I think it is, and maybe she does answer him and they end up getting married in season 6, or maybe they leave it off where it's like, will you marry me, and we don't get the answer of will she leave or will she marry him, and we won't know until next season, but we'll know that eventually they'll get married at the end of season 6. I'd like to just be a perfect way to end the season and just not do a season 7. I feel like also this show is getting to the point where, like, I feel like we're kind of getting to the point where it needs to end. I don't want it to get, because I was, like I said, this mid-season, like, I started liking the season in the beginning, and then it started not liking the season in the middle half, and then when they did the killing off Billy arc, that's when I was fully invested again in the season. If it wasn't for that arc, this season would have been dead for me. It would have been dead. Mainly, the main reason with how they were treating JJ this season. But like I said, it was like Billy getting killed off was this weirdly the savior of the show. For me, not, you know what I mean? For me, not, like, officially not liking the season. You know what I mean? That's how I personally feel. So, it's definitely, I'm thinking they are going to end it in season 6. I have a feeling. I hope that's what they are doing. But we'll just have to wait and see, honestly, of, like, if season 6 will be the last season, if that's Spencer's ring in the next episode, and if Olivia will give Spencer an answer. If Spencer says, like, oh, like, I don't want you leaving. Will you marry me? Will you stay? Because it sounds like he doesn't want to lose another Baker, meaning he doesn't want her to go. He doesn't want her to go to London. He wants her to stay there. And what else would do it than him saying, will you marry me? And just saying, like, I love you. I want to be with you. Will you marry me? He's probably thinking that will probably make her stay. But maybe we won't know the answer of will she stay or will she go until season 6. I don't know. I want to know what your theories are on that. Definitely let me know. But yeah, guys, again, here, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I'd love to have you guys here, part of the family, part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. Yet again, guys, we are almost to 700 subscribers. Right now, we're at 670. I think we're at, like, yeah, we're at, like, 679, if I'm correct. Almost to 700 subscribers. We're super, super close. Or more, I think we're at, yeah, if I'm correct. I don't have my phone, or I do have my phone. I'm trying to, like, see. Just want to make sure directly, like, where we are at, because I want to say we're at 600 and something. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're at 691. We're super close to 700 subscribers. So if you're new here and you love All American, definitely let me know down in the comments below if you are new to the channel. And again, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel, put in those notifications, and like this video. Come join the fam. And let me know your theories for next week's episode. If that is Spencer's ring for Olivia, let me know how you felt, again, about Patience kind of, you know, telling her fans to go get at Miko. And also let me know, do you feel satisfied with JJ's arc and how that got resolved? Let me know down in the comments below. But guys, yet again, that was the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.